Hi, this is Juliet. Welcome to my studio. Today, I'm going to show you how to make some peppermint candy beads, and we're going to put wrappers on them too. What you need to make this bead is some sort of a press or a pair of flat mashers to make the round flat shape, some red opaque stringer, some white opaque glass, clear glass, a pair of tweezers for shaping the wrapper, and a little presser to help get your stringer attached. Let's get started. Okay, first we're going to start by shaping our basic bead in opaque white. You want to make sure you preheat the mandrel. It'll help prevent formation of bubbles. So I'm going to wind on my base glass, about the length I think I need, and then I'm going to just check it for size in my press. If you're using flat mashers for this step, you can skip the test size. You can make it any size you want. Okay, so that's about the right width. So I'm now going to build up the right amount of glass. If you're using flat mashers, you want to build up sort of a football shape with sort of tapered edges. When you mash it, it will become round. You notice the white becomes clear when it's hot, and then as it starts to cool, it turns back to an opaque color. Okay, so I think that's probably about enough glass, so I'm going to do my first press. All right, not quite enough. You see how it didn't quite fill up the bead shape. It's easier to press the second time. So we're going to go in and add a little bit more glass. More on the edges here, make it a little bit wider. When I press it, it will widen it out and give me a nice bead pucker. I'm going to add a swipe across the top and the bottom as well. Now the bead presses I'm using are the orb presses from Karina, and there are 3 of the same size in terms of diameter, but 3 different depths. So if you get a little bit too much glass in the first press, you can move to the one that's a little bit deeper. There we go. That's good. Now flame polish it a little bit and get some of the chill marks out. I like to do a little bit of extra polishing along the mandrel get the bead holes. Okay. So next we're going to take our red stringer. You can either pull stringer or use commercial stringer. They'll make either slightly thicker or slightly thinner peppermint lines. First we're going to put down a stripe parallel to the mandrel, just from bead hole to bead hole on both sides. Okay, we want to melt that in. You may want to take a little press, a little, dental tool and help push it down to make sure it's adhered well. It doesn't pop off. When I'm putting the stringer down, I have the bead below the flame, and the stringer is just on the sweet spot, just to the right of the flame. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go straight to the bottom, wrap around the edge, and come straight down to the middle. Do the other side, down around the edge, and straight down to the middle. I'm going to take my little dental tool, push it down, and that'll help widen it out a little bit as well. You may need to chill your bead tool every now and then as it gets hot. The thinner the tool, the faster it will get hot. Okay, now we're going to add diagonals. I'm going to start in the center, go around to the edge, and back into the center, and flame cut it. Now, I'm just by eyeball bifurcating that angle into the 2 so that it becomes sort of even. I'm going to start in the center, go to the edge, around the edge, and back to the center. Melt that in a bit. And the last one to the edge, around, and back to the middle. Okay. Now from all of that glass, we tend to get a little bit built up in the middle. So I want to let this cool off a little bit because I've been adding quite a bit of heat here. I can judge when it's cooled off a bit by looking at the white and see where it, make sure it's turning back opaque on the surface. So what I want to do is turn my flame down just a bit, spot heat the center, and use my tweezers and just pull a little bit of the glass out of the middle there. I'm going to pull it straight up, and I'm going to just flame cut it off. And that'll help me pull them to a nice point in the center and get rid of some of that extra glass. We're going to twist it, so we're not too worried about it, but we just want to get rid of the big pile of build-up glass we got there. Do a little bit on the other side. Pull it up a little bit. You see, I'm just pulling it out, and I'm going to flame cut it right at the base there. Okay. So now the next step is to twist it. So what I want to do is heat this in and get that flattened down. I use my little dental tool, flatten it out a little bit in the center there. And I'm going to take my I'm going to take my stringer. And what I want to do is make a little flattened landing spot on the end of it. Generally, I just touch it to the side of my torch here. And you see how I have a little landing pad on there? It's a little thicker. That'll allow me to grip the glass and get a good twist. So I'm going to just heat up the end of the stringer a little bit and just flatten it out right on the end of my torch. You can do it on a marvering pad or whatever you have handy. Now see how I have a little bit of a flat landing spot there? That will help me grab the glass and twist it. So what I'm going to do is apply the twist in the center here, but I want the glass to twist out to a larger diameter. So I'm heating around the edges of the bead. You see how I'm moving in a circle in the flame? I'm looking to get the red nice and glowing, a little bit clear on the top. And now I'm going to touch it down with my little landing pad in the center and twist it. And if I have the heat far enough out, it will twist them from a slightly larger diameter. I'll pull the middle out. You want to pull a little bit extra glass out of there. Okay, so that's one side done. So I'm going to take my stringer and just prepare a little flat landing pad on the end again. I'm going to talk less this time. Heat up around the edge. Get it good and hot. Touch and twist. Flame cut it off. Okay, there we go. Flatten that out. All right, so we got the basic candy done. Okay, I added some glass to that, and now I want to kind of clean up my shape a bit. So I'm going to press it one more time. So I'm going to heat it up gently. I don't need to heat it up soupy to the core, just the outer surface, just to give it a little bit better definition. And I'm going to go in the next size deeper cavity on my bead press. There we go. Give me a little bit more definition on the shape. That looks good. So the next step is we're going to add the wrapper. And so we're going to do that by adding some clear right around the edge. And I found that if you attach it to the bead as opposed to trying to wrap a bit of clear on the mandrel, it is much easier to get off the mandrel without cracking right there. So what we're going to do is take our clear, we're going to heat it up, and basically what we're going to do is just draw a little circular ring right around the edge of the bead hole, close to the mandrel, but not quite touching it. So I want to get a bit of heat into my glass here. And I'm going to touch down starting on the top, and see I'm just putting basically a bit of thick stringer around there. I'm going to do a second wrap to build it up a little bit taller, maybe flare it out a little bit, and that is going to become our wrapper. We're going to shape it a little bit by taking our tweezers and just kind of flaring it out. Heat a bit, squeeze and flare it out. Heat a bit, squeeze and flare it out. Kind of work your way around. Tweezers get hot. You may need to chill them in your water. There we go. One side done. I'm going to give it a little bit of insurance heat. And now we're going to do the wrapper on the other side. I'm right-handed, so getting to the left side is a little bit trickier. Let's get a little bit of heat into the bead. Warm up my clear. And again, I'm going to start in the middle and add on some round. Lay a ring down right around the mandrel without actually touching the mandrel. Build it up a little bit taller so I have a little bit more glass there. And you could add more wraps and make it taller if you wanted. Okay. And now I'm going to take my tweezers, spot heat apart, shape, twist, and put in that little plastic wrapper ruffle. There we go. Give the bead a little bit of heat. Heat up the edges, both sides. There we go. Peppermint candy bead, ready to go in the kiln. I'll turn back.